Welcome back, friends, to the final stage of the Alta Via 2. You last saw us at Rifugio Treviso, and day 7 starts with a hike through the woods and steeply up Forcella D'Altro. From here, a long exposed traverse runs below Cima d'Altro, high above the village of Gossaldo. At around 2,000 metres, we reach a junction and begin the steep descent through the forest to Passo Cereda. Then it's across farmland and meadows before the brutal climb to Forcella Comedon, a steep drop to Bivacco Feltre-Bodo, and a final push over Col de Becchi. Day 8 takes us over Passo di Mura to Rifugio Botz, then across Passo di Finestra and a spectacular exposed traverse before gentle pastures lead us over Passo delle Vette Grandi to Rifugio Piaz. From there it's the long descent to Feltre. Let's get going.
Just leaving the hut into the woods, not that daylight yet. Sunrise is a little way off.
Did you sleep well, Dave?
I didn't sleep well. I maybe got a couple of hours sleep if that.
Dave's tiredness might also have had something to do with the extra beer last night. It certainly didn't help him on the steep climb to Forcella D'Altro.
That's where we're going.
Oh, well, we've reached Passo Forcella D'Altro. Dave's feeling a bit worse for wear. But now we have the sun, so we'll leave that behind. And rather charmingly, we're now looking at that, which is a lot of pasture land, which makes a nice change. So down we go. There, look, the village down below.
Ahead lies the narrow, exposed traverse below Cima d'Altro.
Here's your 360, starting with Dave. We're in a lush area with all these rock pinnacles just rearing up out of the grass. And it's nice to be on a decent path, even if it's just temporarily. Back to Dave.
Just traversed across there.
Absolutely beautiful. Come on.
The traverse continues across grass and rock, finally reaching a junction at 2,050 metres. This marks the descent to Passo Cereda, a last chance to catch a bus if you'd rather skip the exposed terrain ahead. The descent begins dramatically, with bizarre stone pinnacles jutting from the mountainside. Until finally we reach the trees, a road and Passo Cereda.
A track.
The track.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't seen one for days.
There's been some pretty hard terrain to go over up there for the last few days. And finally, a forestry track. And now we're on tarmac. 20 minutes to the refuge.
Passo Cereda is a welcome place to stop and grab something to eat. There's a campsite here too if you need it.
Get a bus from there. Get your BFH. There's also a bar and cafe here. Originally it would have been a lot cheaper than the Refugio, which was very expensive. Verde, Passo di Comedon. Bit of a nightmare finding this. The signage from the Refugio Cressida wasn't very good. The commute was trying to send us in a full circle. All trails sent us on a different route to the book. The book was useless. Anyway, we're back on path. Through the trees to Passo Comedon. The thing is, the shades keeping a bit of the heat off us. That's now heading across and up there.
After a brief return to gentler pastures and farmland, the scrambling soon kicks off again for the ascent to Forcella Comedon, grade 3+ and relentless.
We come from all the way down there.
For me, this was the hardest section since that boulder-filled gully above Rifugio Botz in the last video. It just went on and on and on. Steep, exposed, loose underfoot.
Listen up. See where we come across.
Every 15 minutes I was glancing at my watch, checking to see when the end was near.
And we're headed up here. Now into the woods. Don't know what's ahead, don't know how far to go. We just keep making progress upwards.
Rarely has an ascent lasted so long in my head.
Passo Comedon. We've just come up from there, which looks nigh on impossible from here, or horrible, whichever way you want to describe it. You can see the ridge way down there where we start scrambling up here. And we come over here, and that's the view. I am dripping with sweat. And off we go west. Half an hour it says to the Bivacco. Just to point out where the line is down, it's just above my finger there, that slash. We've just come down there, like descending a lot of builders' rubble. And coming round, and there's the Bivacco.
Bivacco Feltre-Bodo was idyllic, surrounded by soft grass and drenched in afternoon sun.
Well, there are two huts here. Have a look in both and see what we've got. This is hut number 1. There's 5 bunks in here. Very nice. With blankets and pillows. Here's hut number 2. Which has benches and quite a lot of bunks. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 in there.
It was tempting to call it a day right there.
This is quite a nice hut.
But it was still early, and with another storm on the way, we decided to keep moving. The storm hit us just after crossing Col dei Becchi. Within minutes we were drenched, scrambling to pitch the tent on a patch of uneven ground.
And then you just find a little piece of beauty, and the waterfall's pretty good as well. Aww. That's our way tomorrow, over the ledge.
The path and our sloping pitch was along the Troi dei Caserini, the ancient shepherd's way.
Well, it's a bit of a mishmash in here at the moment. Slight slope, drying clothes. Well, it's raining. We're a bit damp, so we're changing into our dry set of clothes in the hope the forecast is right tomorrow and it's a nice day. And we finish the rest of stage 11 and 12 and down to civilization.
For once I think I'm looking forward to the end.
Not the flattest camp we've ever had, but after the day we'd had, we slept like rocks.
Morning of day 8.
Beyond camp, the trail threads through a couple of crumbly, partly protected gullies.
Just come across there, you can see where we were camped on the ridge.
Before topping out at Passo di Mura.
Still misty this morning, quite dramatic.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain.
And here's one of the wartime tunnels which, had we kept walking last night, we probably might have used as a bivvy. Yeah, looks very... No, it'd just be a tunnel. Shelter, yeah.
And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within.
What's the pass called? Passo di Mura.
From there the view opens up and the descent leads us down to Rifugio Botz.
We're now starting to look to the south. Sheep herd on the pastures over there. The penultimate refugio. Just a note, you can pitch your tent here. Bivacco in Venali.
Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand. As willows align, we lose track of time. Head up high, now we climb.
Yeah, we're on the west side and the sun hasn't come round over that cloud yet. We've got quite a bit to go, but there's only 2 hours today of difficult stuff, so hopefully after that we should be alright. Then it's only 4 hours down to the refuge, and then an hour and a half, and then whatever kilometres to the Caserini. And this terrain's a bit slippy today, isn't it, because of the mud. Maybe shouldn't have had another coffee, you think? Quite a bit of clouds scudding about this morning, or mist.
Our final day on the Alta Via, but the trail refuses to give up easily.
We've just come past the window Finestra.
Ahead lies a spectacular, rocky and at times exposed path, steeped in history, a legacy of hunters and soldiers.
Another cave. We've made a reasonable pitch. Quite a bit of flattened grass here, makes me wonder whether someone's done a bivouac there.
It begins after Passo di Finestra, clinging to the cliffs for a good 2 hours before finally easing off.
Beyond gravel, beyond all.
A really misty morning. This mountain seems to be throwing all sorts at us. Sometimes you get to a section like this and you might think that's the way, but you can just make out on the rock there some very, very faded red and white, and the way to where Sue's going. Just to be so careful. This is an exposed section followed by some steps up. Ooh. The mist just swirling around for effect. Here's the next snack or whatever. So cloudy, misty today. This side of the mountain just seems to be taking mist, just making it feel quite ominous. There's a section where that's a marker. I'm going down here and it was difficult to see, making it very tricky, especially in the mist. Just come down and across that in the mist. We've promised good weather today, the best of the next 4. We were told at the Treviso Refuge on Saturday night. It doesn't always work out that way. A day in the Yorkshire Dales. Maybe not quite, or a bit more dramatic.
I feel stuck here in the middle.
These flowers clinging on.
Of those crazy people.
There's life clinging on.
Life will
In-
always find a way.
In the mist. Look at the grand views today. The sun's starting to push through. Quite a few sections of this hike you will be in complete solitude. We were just saying how we passed 3 people today going the other way, and we've been walking now for nearly 6 hours, and it's just quiet and desolate.
You're forgetting one thing that we saw.
An adder.
The adder. I wish I'd been able to film your dance when you saw it. Or was it me that was dancing?
I don't know. I was certainly getting out of his way. Dangerous little things, them. Won't say that if he bites your ankle. Won't be so cocky then. Oh, don't! I thought you saw another one then.
No, because of the tips. I've made sure I've got the no gap.
Oh, look at you! Look at you! With your long trousers, camping next to a really tick nest.
Very versatile.
Yeah. 1 hour!
5 hours to Feltre.
Another thing I'm going to point out is we actually brighten up every time we see one of these signs.
We're so cheerful. Hey!
We see a red and white sign,
Close.
we actually get cheered up by it. Anyway, 1 hour to the refuge.
And 5 to Feltre.
Pedavina Feltre 5, so what that means is maybe 5 to Feltre, so maybe 5-6 o'clock tonight, we'll see. There's the sign for the finish, just in case you're feeling really like Danny McCaskill, you're not supposed to ride your bike along there. Back to the tinkling of cowbells and grass after so much rock. The last col. Out. There it is. Passo di Grandi. Our last col. And the refuge. It was sunny. Mist rolled in again. Here's the entrance. Who's going up? Not sure where the entrance is. How do you get in? There's live catching up with the fan mail. 2 days off from fan mail.
All 3 of them.
All 3 fans. It's on the way down to the last Refugio, and look at this for a road. Still misty. And from walking on a path for days which has been about 10 inches wide over a precipice, we're now on a Land Rover track. Lots and lots of trees on the way down the last stage. Sue's loving it.
Oh, stop it. That's the funniest thing I've seen for the last, I don't know how long.
And what is it you've seen?
You did a little dance because there was another adder.
That's my snake escaping
Snake
dance. Yeah. It's my special
Yeah.
my special dance for getting away from snakes, that.
I love snakes.
Yeah, well you won't say that when one bites you on the ankle. Salcomoni, 1005 metres. It's like an old abandoned farm here. It's very much down through the trees. And I think Feltre's around about 500 metres, so a fair bit to go yet. And some miles.
7 miles. 6 maybe.
Tired legs, tired feet. But we're on quite a high now. So it won't feel as bad.
In your case, very high.
Sue's still laughing about me jumping over an adder. It started out with killing instinct, I'll add. I could see it in its eye, it was out for a bite. If I hadn't had my snake reaction skills at home to 100% after the first one this morning, it might be a different picture now. They might be getting the airlifting me out of here. You see civilization, Pedavina, Feltre. The end is in sight. Here we come round to our turn off the road, thankfully. That's been hard work on the feet. Walking back through Padavina, which entails walking past our van. So, our van's back that way. But being purists.
We said, didn't we, right at the beginning that we weren't going to go back to the van until we'd been to Feltre with all our kids. Hello chickens.
So our van is behind us and we're going to walk 2.5 miles past it to finish. Earlier on today, that's where we were, somewhere up there. There's the first sign for Feltre. Just over there.
Let's find something new. Me and you.
What a beautiful finish to a challenging trek. The end.
Blue is the sky.
So that's it, the end of the Alta Via 2.
That's it. AV2. Finito.
The pictures do most of the talking, but they can't quite capture all the highs and lows of this trail for us. It's beautiful, it's rugged, and at times utterly exhausting. The kind of terrain that demands total concentration for hours on end.
And there's a different 360.
We've been nervous, enthralled, knackered, uplifted, inspired, even close to giving up, but I'm very glad we didn't. I hope you've enjoyed this very special series.
Fantastic way to finish.
It's definitely been the hardest one we've done. Thanks so much to everyone who's joined us along the way. It's been a real pleasure to share it with you. We'll be back again soon, but for now, cheerio!
She said.